How you doing? Today on Full Dip I want to do a quick video on restoring these two Honda Hornet wheels. They're in pretty bad condition, so I'm going to start off with going to degrease these. You can use panel wipe, you can use washing up liquid. If you get them really clean you can use a pre-dip, but I won't be pre-dipping these because I want to repair these. They've got they have a lot of damage here around this area here, if you look here and over here. So I'm going to be sanding this down and get the paint to feather in with the sanding. If I can't do that, I'm going to strip all the paint off. But look, I want to make this a simple project. I'm going to get some nice full dip. I'm going to get the hyper black metallic. I might even gloss it up. So I'm going to get started by getting this all cleaned up now, and we'll get a closer look. In fact, I'm going to zoom in and let you have a close look at how bad these wheels are. Then I'm going to wash them, clean them and have another look, and we'll just do this step by step, and I'll cut out all the boring bits. Okay, after cleaning down the wheel and trying to do that feathering, repairing work on the wheel, waste of time. I ended up, here's the wheel now, I ended up actually stripping this right down to the bare metal using some 240, 400 and 800 wet and dry sandpaper. Got it to this stage, put a coat of etching primer on it, then that showed up a few parts that I missed. And so you can see I've gone over those again, and it's now ready for the next coat. But to get to this process took me at least 4 hours or more of sanding, and the primer just took 5 minutes to put on. So it's too long. I'm looking for something a bit quicker. Now we're doing a major restore and the wheels were really in bad condition, but here's the quick way to do it, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Nitromorse paint stripper. Now we have a custom blend from our body shop. I don't know what it is, but it's a good stripper. I'm sure Nitromorse is the same. Just brush it on. 10 minutes later I was able to wash down the wheels because it leaves some pretty nasty goo behind. You have to get all that off, kind of degrease it, get it nice and clean. And then all I used on this was 400 and 800. The 400 where I was getting a lot of pitting, you know, around here and some spots around here and a few little spots around here. They were actually difficult to get off with the 800, so I ended up just using the 400, and then I gave it a once over the 800. And this whole process, you know, including the stripper from start to finish, took me under 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half. And now it's ready for a primer, and what we'll do is I'll bring it in there, we'll put on some etching primer. I will leave that dry for at least 24 hours just to be sure there's no problems, and then we're going to put on some full dip hyper black. Okay, got my wheel ready. It looks like so. I've actually given a little rub with some thinners. If you're pretty sure that it's fully degreased, there's no need, it'll be fine, but just in case I missed a spot, I just gave it a quick rub with a bit of thinners to make sure there's no grease or dirt on it. Now I'm going to use this rub through etching primer. It's great for alloy wheels, and once I get a few coats of that on, when I say a few, I'll do a max of 2 coats. Probably 10 minutes apart, something like that, and then I'm going to leave this dry for a full day, and then I'm going to put on the full dip. So right, I'll get my mask on. The grey primer, once you see that kind of shiny effect, you know that's wet enough to keep moving on. I have it on a little pole here to turn around and spin on. Also allows me to turn it over, get both sides done. I'll let that dry. One more coat, that's enough, leave it for a day. Okay, so here we are. I've got my grey primer coat fully dried. It's been at least 12 hours or more, and I'm now ready to put on my hyper black metallic. I'm going to put on probably 5 or 6 coats, I might even go 7 coats, and that will allow me then to do a permanent gloss coat later on if I want, but we'll talk about that later. Remember, first coat should be a dusting coat. I have everything masked off, I've got these holes plugged with a bit of paper or whatever, and I've also got this thing spinning on a bar, which is just clamped to the tabletop. It just means I can get everywhere with the paint and then take the wheel off, flip it over very carefully, do the other side, and so I'm getting one dusting coat done on both sides of the wheel. And then the temperature today is around 15 degrees in here, so I'll be able to put a coat on every 10 or 15 minutes. So let's get spraying. Okay, so that's a dusting coat. I can still see my grey primer through it, but that's going to dry very fast, it's going to grip really well, and then after that, normal wet coats. Okay, we'll just lift this wheel up, get a close-up of it, see what you think. There we go, that is one smooth finish, all from an aerosol can. It's that easy to put on, take your time and you get that kind of finish. So there you go, full dip hyper black metallic. Okay, so the hyper black metallic turned out really well. You get that nice satin finish because of the metallic flake in it. It looks really well, I like it. But then I decided, look, I'm going to put a gloss coat on top of this. Now, we do 2 gloss coats. And what I'll do is I'll do a video later on in the year about applying those gloss coats and how easy it is to do and what it's going to look like. But for now, I'll skim over as much as I can. But I'll tell you, we got a glossifier. And we've got a super gloss. This one says Super Brillo on the tin. We call it a super high gloss or super gloss. And this is normally associated with a permanent glossy finish. And it's a very high shine. I did the speed shape here. Have a look at that. That's pretty shiny. Now to get that effect I had to do 2 very wet coats. And I've had a lot of practice spraying with aerosol cans, so I had no problem doing that. But then to make it easier to put on your wheels, and the reason why I want to use the super gloss, by the way, is I want this to be fuel and scratch resistant within reason. And what I mean by that is that if I'm doing my petrol tank and my wheels, chain oil coming off the back wheel, I want that to be easy to clean off. And then if I spill a bit of petrol and I'm putting some fuel in the tank, I don't want anything to happen to the dip. Now, full dip unprotected, you might get a teardrop stain. Just let it vent off, it should be okay. But with this stuff, it's supposed to be fuel and scratch resistant, and I will test that in a video later on I'll show you how to spray this. I'll let it dry, I'll dip a speed shape into some petrol or whatever, and we'll test it. You know, that's the ultimate test. Two wet coats, or in this case 4 light coats. What I mean by that, I was spraying back from here, like 15 centimeters away. I just did a pass this way, a pass that way. That was my coat done. Left it dry, and I did that 4 times. And the drying time, I left it for about 6 minutes between each coat. So it didn't fully go off, and one coat would kind of gel into the other. And that was my experience. It's not as shiny as the speed shape, but look, take a look there. It looks really good. Now, in order to make this still peelable, I made sure it's 7 coats of dip on this, and then I left it for 24 hours, and then I put this on, and then I left that dry for a day or 2 before I picked it up, and it's fine. So if I dig into this with enough effort, it'll be difficult to remove, but it'll remove right back to the grey primer. Thanks for watching.